How's it going, everybody? It's Milwaukee coming back at you once again. And today we're going to be discussing Supergirl, the Last Daughter of Krypton, by Michael Green, Mike Johnson, and Mahmoud Asar. Let's get into it. Supergirl arrives on Earth in a specially designed space pod that then bores through the planet and she ends up in Siberia. Mech soldiers arrive on the scene to greet her, and she wipes the floor with them. Superman intervenes, and she wipes the floor with him. Superman warns her about the people of Earth and her powers, but she totally disregards him. She decides to head back to her ship, but she only finds the crater because the ship has been taken away, and it's here where she meets Mr. Tycho. Tycho lures her into his space station and attempts to imprison her. Needless to say, it did not go well for Mr. Tycho. Supergirl then decides that she's going to fly back to Krypton through space by herself, and when she gets there, she comes across the remains of Argo City, and while she's there, she stumbles upon a world killer named Rain. Rain, defeating Supergirl, decides that she's going to go to Earth and destroy the planet as she was designed to do, because she is, after all, a Kryptonian world killer. One of five, four of which are accounted for. One's missing, but she's going to go to Earth, so it's up to Supergirl, and for some reason only Supergirl, to go back to Earth and defend her new home. Can't she do it? As far as, some things this book has going for it, Supergirl here, she displays a new power. It's like a solar flare power. She's able to hypercharge her solar energy and unleash it. I've never seen that before. Maybe it's an old Supergirl power. I'm not really familiar with the character, but I thought that was neat. It differentiates her from Superman, at least. In this book, it sets up that there's 5 Kryptonian world destroyers. 4 are accounted for, but that 5th one, he's missing. I'm kind of thinking it's Doomsday, like a Doomsday reference, because Rain herself looks like what I would imagine a female Doomsday to look like. But it's not explicitly stated that it's him, and I don't really remember Doomsday's old origin from, back from Death of Superman. But it doesn't really matter, because this is the New 52, and Superman is all new. So, is it him? Is it not? Who knows? We'll keep reading to find out. But, what's intriguing nonetheless. I also enjoyed the character of Mr. Tycho, or Tycho, however you say that name. I don't know. He's like a younger Lex Luthor. Is sort of like the perfect foil for a younger super character, such as Supergirl. She messes him up pretty bad in this volume, and he ends up having to, let's just say he undergoes some physical changes here. Maybe he'll show back up in the book. I don't know. I haven't read it. Looking forward to seeing what happens next, though. As for some things I didn't particularly care about in this volume, Supergirl, when she arrives on Earth, she gets instant powers. Now, I don't know if they're going to explain it at all, or if they're going to say, well, it took Superman, years to develop his powers because he was young. And maybe it takes a mature body to be able to absorb so much radiation so quickly that Supergirl just got her powers instantly or whatever. They probably won't explain it. Like I said, this happens a lot. Zod shows up on Earth, instant powers. Any Kryptonian that shows up on Earth, instant powers. Superman, it took him his whole adolescence, right? But just something I figure I'd point out here. Not a fan of the instant powers. I'd like to see some struggle. We get an issue here, a long, drawn-out battle. Supergirl versus Superman. And then they have a rematch in the Superman book. So, whatever. Just not a fan of the heroes fighting the heroes. I understand why they do it, but doesn't mean I have to like it. It ultimately goes nowhere. Just fills pages, page space, page rates, whatever. Supergirl wins. Kind of questionable, right? You figure Superman would like to smackdown on her, but who knows? Guess not. Well, I talked just a little bit ago about how I enjoyed the World Destroyer mystery. I didn't care for the other World Destroyers. You had Rain, looks like a female Doomsday. You have the mystery of possible Doomsday being out there somewhere. He's unaccounted for in space. But the other world destroyers, they're just goofy. One looks like a praying mantis. The other one is like a saber-toothed tiger or whatever. Uh, just really took me out of the story. I'd rather they have not been there. You know, Rain herself, she was the leader. She was the main enemy. She was enough. You didn't have to have the Animorphs with you to make it a bigger threat. And then Supergirl's easily able to defeat all four World Destroyers. Give me a break. So yeah, didn't care for their inclusion. Hope to never see them again. Also, when it comes to Supergirl, I want to point out that, you know, when the New 52 was brand new, 2011, I was there on the ground, in the comic shops, reading the books, mostly Batman, but I sort of had an eye on the other books. And when we first saw this new design for Supergirl, I didn't like it. A lot of people didn't like it. You know, it's strange, it's alien, but that's kind of the point, right? And we were promised a Supergirl with like a new attitude. Like she was gonna be more alien. She was gonna be more like ruthless and vicious, and Clark would have to like rein her in. And I didn't really get the sense of that in this book. Sure, her actions, you know, she fights Superman. She's always punching first and asking questions later. Well, her inner dialogue is still like that, just a typical like female written character. She's not angry. She's just scared. She's confused. And I don't want to say it's a bait and switch. I was actually looking forward to an angrier, aliener Supergirl. And I really feel like they did not deliver on that, at least in this volume. I know later on she goes and become a Red Lantern, which is why I'm kind of intrigued about this Supergirl. I want to see what happens. But I feel like we didn't get that angry Supergirl in this volume. You could say her throwing all these temper tantrums with the fisticuffs is her being that, but I don't know. The inner monologue, the dialogue, whatever, was just, you know, typical. It might as well have been Batgirl, right? But we'll keep reading and we'll find out. And I just got to say before I wrap this one up, you know, this book has two authors, both named Michael. It doesn't really seem like it should have had two authors. If you read the book, you'll probably pick up what I'm saying. A lot of, it's not really dialogue heavy. A lot of action, a lot of big panels, a lot of, you know, splash pages. You telling me it took two guys to write this? I don't know. Feels like DC's being scammed. Let me not say that. But, hey, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and give Supergirl, Last Daughter of Krypton, a 4 out of 5. It's not the best book that I've ever read. It's not the worst. I really enjoyed the stuff with Mr. Tycho, setting him up as a potential new Lex Luthor for this younger Supergirl character. I like where they left that. Hopefully it gets picked up on in the future volumes. Other than that, you know, we'll see what happens. Until next time, I'll see you there.